Good evening, I'm Gregory Wilson. We begin in downtown Toronto, where LCBO workers were out rallying on day 2 of the province's liquor store's first ever strike. 9,000 workers hit the picket line yesterday after negotiations on a new deal fell apart. Meanwhile, the LCBO says it will open a handful of stores for one day next week to help serve its wholesale customers. But as Brittany Billette tells us, some bars and restaurants say they'll still be in a pinch.
Hospitality workers tried to stock up before the strike, but some say it still couldn't cushion the blow.
The economic climate is hurting us, and this just adds stress, cost, worry, expense, all of it.
While some business owners say they were prepared for this weekend, next week could be a different story.
Absolute vodka should be something that there's copious quantities in the LCBO system. When we have stores that run out and we have the warehouse runs out, that scares me in a big way.
Thousands of LCBO workers walked off the job just after midnight on Friday. Negotiations between the Crown Corporation and the Ontario Public Service Employees Union broke down. It's the first strike in the company's nearly 100-year history.
Listen, we're willing to come back to the table at any point. It's a myth that we walked away from the table. We were there until midnight. The sticking point is that, Doug Ford has chosen to privatize in such a way and without adequate consultation that our workers can't actually engage in meaningful negotiations at the table.
The province's finance minister told CBC News that expanding alcohol sales is part of an election promise the government intends to fulfill.
And this is going to help, small businesses. The consumers have been asking for this, convenience and choice.
LCBO workers say they'll be at the picket line until well-paying, full-time jobs are protected.
If you look at this, we're strong. We're not going to break.
The LCBO says it will be serving licensee businesses during the strike through its online ordering system, which has free shipping. But products will be limited to top-selling merchandise by the case, something small businesses might not be able to buy because of the cost.
If they're hoping to sell during the next 2, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, whatever it takes, they had to lay out all this cash up front in the hopes. So it's not great.
The LCBO also said it would open 5 locations across Ontario on July 10th to help those who need to shop in person to buy individual bottles. Those visits will be by appointment only.
But till now, we don't know exactly where are the locations. So we need to take into consideration the logistics, transportation, waiting time, the appointments, the availability of the appointments, how much you need to wait in order to store your product. So this is the main concern that we have now.
CBC Toronto asked the LCBO where the locations would be, but it didn't clarify. It said, quote, LCBO has made every effort to ensure customers can find what they are looking for and have stocked up on customers' favorite items. While we are operating our business, it is not business as usual. If the strike lasts longer than 2 weeks, the LCBO said it would open 32 of its 680 stores on July 19th. But those would only be open for licensees on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and with limited hours. Regular customers would still have to shop elsewhere to get their alcohol. Brittany Billette, CBC News, Toronto.
And Canadian soccer fans are celebrating this morning after last night's big win at the Copa America tournament. So Canada
down to the wire, but they pulled through and they did a great job at the end.
I tried turning away from the TV because I was so nervous.
They make us suffer, but that's good. Yeah.
I think that here in Canada, we need to start seeing more of this excitement and start valuing the national team because they deserve it. They're a group of team.
So Canada defeated Venezuela in the quarterfinals in Arlington, Texas. Jacob Schaffelberg scored in the first half to give Canada a 1-0 lead, but Venezuela responded with a goal in the second half to tie the match 1-1. There was no scoring the rest of the match, and it went into penalty kicks. And in the 6th round of the shootout, Ismail Kony scored to give Canada the victory. With the win, Canada advances to the semifinals on Tuesday against Argentina. It's a rematch of a group stage game that Argentina won by a score of 2-0. CBC News spoke with soccer journalist John Molinaro to get his thoughts on last night's game.
Probably one of the most entertaining and fun matches to watch at the Copa America. It was really back and forth. I mean, 90 minutes of wild action. What was great to see was both teams kind of going for it, attacking with really sort of purpose and reckless abandon. And just to see Canada sort of hold its nerve because it was a very physical game at times. They didn't have a lot of the referees' decisions go their way. So, but instead of kind of, losing their head, they remained focused. And, you really have to sort of respect the composure and the poise that they showed throughout, what was really a tense 90 minutes. And then, of course, a really tense, 6-round penalty shootout. They didn't sort of sit back and take a pragmatic approach. They were really sort of aggressive right from the get-go. So, and if they can use their speed, like which they did through Jacob Schaffelberg's goal and whatnot, then I think that'll serve them really well against the, the reigning World Cup champions. I mean, you're talking about Argentina. No disrespect to Venezuela, but Argentina is a different proposition altogether. You're talking about the defending World Cup champions, the defending Copa America champions, the #1 ranked team in the world, and a team that has Lionel Messi. So this is going to be a significantly tougher test for the Canadians.
A charity basketball event took to the hardwood this afternoon in Toronto, hosted by the No Flukes Foundation.
We're here today, #1, to change lives and spread awareness of how to change lives. I think that kids just need a foundation around them, support, people that can show them how to get to where they want to get to and make people believe that they can do whatever they need to do. So us doing it right now, showing them pro athletes, showing them how to have fun and at the same time get better in something, in a trade, in a sport, in anything you want to do, that's what we're out here doing. Giving them the vision, making them the belief.
Vaughn Alexander, who you just saw, is the father of NBA star Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and the uncle of Timberwolves guard Nikhil Alexander-Walker. The inaugural Shoot Your Shot event features a weekend of three-point contests, dunk contests, and a pro game. No Flukes was founded to provide support for the GTA's basketball community by providing vital financial support and educational resources. It's a busy weekend with festivals right across the GTA. This weekend marks 20 years of salsa in St. Clair. And no matter what time you visit, you will get free cha-cha, free bachata, and of course, free salsa lessons. And if you don't dance, don't worry. You can enjoy the wide variety of food and the parades. Our Dwight Drummond and Lorenda Redekup took to the main stage earlier today. And Lorenda showed her salsa skills on stage. She spoke with some visitors about what this festival means to them.
Everyone should come here, no matter you're Latino or anything. It's just an enjoyable experience.
I guess reminds me all this music, all the food, right, that I have back home. So it's amazing.
I like the salsa, cumbia, merengue. That's all the Latin music.
The event included a parade showcasing different Latin American cultures and dances. And if you didn't get a chance to practice your moves on the streets today, don't worry, there's always tomorrow. The festival wraps Sunday night. Sophia Cambalia joins us now with a first look at the forecast. So we did see a bit of rain today. Will we be forced to dance in the rain tomorrow?
Well, you have your dancing shoes on. You are in. Good luck, Gregory. Thanks for that. A beautiful festival weekend for all of you. But you saw some of those clouds. You mentioned some of the rain as well. Those big, puffy, beautiful clouds. They were a little ominous for some of you. We did have some showers and storms roll through the region. Temperatures are great right now, but there is still this non-severe storm risk for much of the province. There is enough moisture in some of those clouds that you could have some heavy rain and large hail, especially for those of you in the Ottawa Valley. We did see enough of a southerly flow and a lake breeze to kickstart some of these beefy storms north of Ottawa and between the Bancroft to Kingston area, some of these severe thunderstorms that were warned over the past couple hours. They are clearing up, so the chance for a couple to bubble up in the next hour or two, and then all is clear into the overnight period. Watch Monday, high pressure in place. Brilliant sunshine for the next 24 to 36 hours. I'll tell you in the long range when things fall off the rails. But in general, this is a beautiful week ahead, especially if you're spending a dockside or patio side. Gorgeous Goldilocks forecast for your Sunday afternoon all across the region.
Thanks, Sophia.
You're welcome.
And incoming British Prime Minister Keir Starmer today held his first news conference since Thursday's landslide election victory. There were few detailed promises, but he confirmed the previous Conservative government's controversial plan for asylum seeker relocation was finished.
It's never been a deterrent. Look at the numbers that have come over in the first 6 and a bit months of this year. They're record numbers.
So the plan was to fly asylum seekers to Rwanda. The Tory government said that would stop migrants making for Britain in boats on the English Channel. A series of legal challenges prevented it from ever being implemented. And in other news, a reformist candidate who wants to improve relations with the West has won Iran's presidential election. Trevor Dunn has more on Iran's new president and why pushing for change won't be easy.
Iran's president-elect Masoud Pezeshkian mobbed by supporters at his first public event since winning the vote. Pezeshkian told a crowd in Tehran that his victory is a serious responsibility, and he vowed to be a voice for the voiceless and rejected. A 69-year-old cardiac surgeon and longtime member of parliament, Pezeshkian campaigned as a moderate reformist, saying he'll work to fix Iran's economy by improving relations with the West and negotiating the lifting of international sanctions targeting Iran's nuclear program. He's also promising to ease Iran's strict social rules, including mandatory headscarves for women. I'm happy he won, this woman says. I just hope prices go down and young people can find jobs. Pezeshkian will have to carefully manage any attempts he makes at reforms. His ultra-conservative opponent had a strong showing in the runoff vote. Hardliners still wield power across the government, and efforts to warm Western relations will be complicated by ongoing tensions surrounding the Israel-Hamas war. Behind it all, Iran's supreme leader remains the country's highest political and religious authority.
This is the first time since 2005 that a reformist has come to power. It is pretty interesting and significant.
Despite the challenges, experts say there is an appetite for change in Iran and some room for the new president to maneuver.
That there is a real frustration within the society, and it's like a ticking bomb, and something's got to give. And if the Iranian government cannot fix the economy in the short run, at least it can reduce the pressure on the society through more lax enforcement of some of these social restrictions.
But on the streets of Tehran, not everyone is optimistic. At about 50%, voter turnout was historically low. This woman among those who didn't bother to cast a ballot. I have no feelings because these candidates only make slogans, she says. They do nothing for the people. Skepticism that a new reformer president can create change in a tightly controlled regime. Trevor Dunn, CBC News, Toronto.
The WWE is in Toronto for a weekend of events, highlighted by tonight's Money in the Bank main event. The organization is known for its elaborate storylines, but the best story of the weekend may be how one fan got to tonight's show. WWE fan Mike Ashkiwi won tickets to the event in an Instagram contest. However, Ashkiwi uses a wheelchair and was initially told his needs could not be accommodated. It was a crushing blow for the huge wrestling fan who took to X to vent his disappointment. That message gained traction with the internet wrestling community, eventually catching the notice of the WWE itself. And the result, Ashkiwi will be at tonight's show, and he got a personal phone call from Cody Rhodes, one of the sport's biggest stars. The CBC's Deanna Sumanak-Johnson spoke to Ashkiwi last hour outside of the arena where the WWE event is taking place.
Take me back after you shared your experience, just kind of hoping, hey, maybe this will give them a tip to really work harder at being more accessible. What happened then?
Well, I posted my story on Reddit where like 99.9% of people were super thrilled and happy for me. And then I spoke with another outlet in Kitchener, Ontario with a reporter named Spencer Turcotte. And as we were preparing to do a local story, we get a call from WWE. And I'm like, I don't know who knows I'm here. And the Spencer hands me the phone. It's like, by the way, Mike, it's for you. And on the other line was Cody Rhodes saying, hi, Mike, it's the American Nightmare. And I was like, oh, God. And it completely took me by surprise, as you've probably seen by my reaction.
An American Nightmare, but a total Canadian dream for this fan. What was that like? I mean, you know, why have you, I know you've been a long-time wrestling fan. People who love wrestling always say that they have a real sense of connection to the stars. In that moment, when you talked to him on the phone, what was that like?
Absolutely. It was absolutely life-changing because I'd seen some of the stuff that Cody has done over the years. I've seen lots of stories on social media. And when I started chatting with him, you could really sense the humanity, the kindness, and the empathy. He apologized profusely. He welcomed me personally to Money in the Bank. And what's going to make me a lifelong fan of Cody from now on is how genuine and warm he is. That's not a character. That is the strength of his character coming through every moment that gentleman speaks.
I love that, as you're sharing this story, people will sometimes dismiss wrestling saying, well, it's all fake, but you're talking about how real he is, how genuine he is. Looking forward, you're going to have a blast tonight, but looking forward, what are your hopes for the future in terms of accessibility, inclusivity, particularly at popular large-scale events like WWE matches? What do you hope story of what happened to you tells the organizers and organizers of other big events?
Well, what I'd really like to see happen is to have organizers of concerts, venues, whoever, and even people like Toys R Us, reach out to the disabled community, talk to the advocates, talk to the people doing the advocacy work in the space. We want to come out to the events, we want to come out to the concerts. We are a part of the communities, we're a part of these fandoms. I would love for Toys R Us to say, hey, can we work together? Yeah, genuinely, I really want to help. If anything comes out of this, I just want the future to change for everybody. If this had not worked out for me, I would have been happy if it worked out for somebody else.
Mike, your selflessness just shines through, and I just wish you such an amazing weekend. Have a great time tonight. I know you'll be having a blast, and you're already a well-known name, so I'm sure lots of people are going to want to shake your hand and come and meet you as well. Thank you, Mike, so much for sharing your story with us.
Thank you, guys. Have a great time at the event tonight, and Canadian Dream. Thank you, Cody Rhodes.
I love that. I did not even know you had it, but great minds think alike. We were right on the same chord there. Thanks a lot, Mike.
Thanks, you guys. Take care. Bye-bye.
That's WWE fan Mike Ashkelon.
A judge is allowing the Review Cinema to remain open through the summer and at least part of the fall as operators continue their battle with the building's landlord. The landlord decided not to extend the cinema's lease past June, but an injunction halting its eviction has now been extended. Olivia Bowden has more about how the cinema is handling the ongoing dispute.
It's been very, very hectic.
Mark Priestley is a board member of the Review Film Society. That's the nonprofit that operates the Review Cinema. He says they were told suddenly last week that the landlord wanted to evict them. But they've obtained an injunction that will prevent that from happening until a potential trial. And that order has now been extended until the end of October.
We're definitely relieved that we have, time to try to work things through things, whether that is, gathering information that we need and also just having more discussions with our landlord.
The dispute has put the cinema's future in jeopardy. It's been operating for more than 100 years on Roncesvalles Avenue, showcasing all kinds of genre of film, including classic movies, along with independent, Indigenous, and 2S LGBTQ+ films. Priestley says the cinema can't operate without the board, which the landlord wants to axe.
Without that, we think it would be very, very challenging.
In the meantime, there's been an outpouring of support from the community since the eviction notice, who say too many Toronto cultural institutions are disappearing, and news of its potential closure has gone beyond Toronto. Oscar-winning filmmaker Guillermo del Toro urged Mayor Olivia Chow to save the cinema on X. He pointed to a Change.org petition that has over 20,000 signatures. Mayor Olivia Chow says she's been going to the theater for decades and is working to keep it operating. She says her office is trying to get the cinema heritage status.
We are very much in touch with the operator, and we'll see what we can do to protect the building.
Now, I spoke to the landlord for the cinema, Daniel Mullen, earlier today, and he says he wants to keep the theater in operation, but not with the current board. The board says they're hoping that they can find an agreeable solution with the landlord by the fall. Olivia Bowden, CBC News, Toronto.
The Taste of the Middle East kicks off this weekend. One vendor we spoke to says no matter how much of a picky eater you are, you'll find something.
So we make everything, vegan, vegetarian, spicy, not spicy, every kind of protein, lamb, chicken, beef. We have something for everybody, literally, and fish. We brought the whole menu, calamari, shrimp, lamb shank, steak, kushari, hawashi, you name it, we got it.
This is the festival's 7th run. Every year it features a fusion of traditional Arabic food and a unique experience reflecting the rich traditions of the Middle East. The festival runs till Sunday. And we're back with you, Sophia. So tell us a bit more about what we could expect for the rest of the week.
It is a Goldilocks week, Gregory. If this is the week that you had to take off for the cottage or for your staycation, you picked a good one. Not a lot of extremes, not a lot of storm risk, and plenty of sunshine. We'll get to all the details. We are still watching, though, the chance for a couple stray storms that could pump up in the next hour or two in the Ottawa Valley. Some hail possible and some heavy downpours, but then that'll be the last of it. Things clear, high pressure in place. Clouds move away from the rest of the region as well for Sunday and Monday. I'll show you the day by day right now. Sunday afternoon, Goldilocks forecast, plenty of sunshine, low storm risk. Great if you want to head out and enjoy all the shawarma and all the other wonderful delicacies that we just saw there. Made me hungry. Sunday around the GTA, even more sunshine with that really light east wind off Lake Ontario. Speaking of that light wind over top of the lakes, overnight, if you're still out partying, 17, a little bit of light fog. We have that warmer air mass over the colder lake waters, and you could have some foggy conditions, which could be quite beautiful if you're waking up in cottage country for your Sunday morning. Beautiful conditions continue into Monday with high pressure in place. And then things fall off the rails just a slight bit for Tuesday. This frontal system comes in, a bit of a troughing pattern, and you could have some spotty showers and maybe even a little bit of an elevated storm risk for your Tuesday. It doesn't do much to cool things down. You've got a southerly flow all week, feeling into the 30s, even into the mid-30s for some of you. There's that day of a little bit of instability come Tuesday, but really a week of not a lot of extremes, as we mentioned off the top here, around seasonal, a little bit more heat for those of you in the Windsor region with some mid-30s for the feels like, but pleasant conditions all throughout, even with the few chances of some storms for those of you, again, in the Ottawa Valley come Tuesday. So enjoy the week. Lots of sunshine as far as tomorrow goes, or it's the winner when it comes to hours of sunshine for this upcoming week ahead, but plenty of sunny breaks and bright bluebird skies throughout the next few days.
Thank you so much, Sophia.
You're welcome.
And a massive outdoor yoga class happened in Toronto this morning.
You're working with what you have, with what the universe has provided today.
Hundreds of Torontonians started their day with wellness icon Adrienne Mishler. And if you ever followed her yoga YouTube tutorial, it was probably Yoga with Adrienne. The Austin, Texas-based titan of online yoga has 12.7 million subscribers on YouTube, and this is her first ever live event in Canada. And that's our show for you tonight. Thank you for watching. You can stay caught up on news anytime on our website, cbcnews.ca. Have a great night.